Well, Starbucks just announcing that it's going to be extending catastrophe pay and other COVID-19 benefits for its employees through May 3rd. Let's take you through what this looks like here. This pay will be for any Starbucks partner who's sick, taking care of someone, is self-isolating, and opts to not come to work or chooses to stay home during this time. Originally, this program was intended to be for 30 days, ending near the end of April. Now, those who are healthy and choosing to come to work will receive an additional $3 an hour with service pay. The company also announcing that temporary cafe closures and modified operations will continue through May 3rd. In addition, it'll be sending thermometers to all company-operated stores for those who want to monitor themselves before shifts begin. In addition, Starbucks says it's looking into non-medical grade mask options for workers, and its foundation, Brian, has donated $3 million so far to response efforts. So a big donation there and some updates for Starbucks workers who are opting to stay home, are sick, are taking care of loved ones and partners of their own, and those who are choosing to come in if they're healthy enough to work. Back over to you.
All right, Kate Rogers, the breaking news there on Starbucks. Dan, Nathan, I mean, Dan, you could talk about Starbucks fundamentally, but as you've noted, it's kind of hard to know where any of the numbers are going to come in. Let me ask you a question in a different way. Obviously, mom and pop, they're struggling. They can't afford to bankroll this stuff. I get it. But for these large national chains, do you think we're going to have a collectively long memory where people, customers are going to say, that company did right by its employees, that company did not, and they could have afforded it? Will that matter when this is all said and done?
I think it should. I mean, brand value is an amazingly important part of the valuation in a lot of these companies. Why does Starbucks trade at a premium? Why does Disney trade at a premium? Why does Nike trade at a premium? A lot of that is obviously the premium product, but also that premium brand. So I think this is a really smart move on their part. I just want to make one other point about Starbucks and its price action. This stock topped out last year at $100, and it sold off to basically $50 at its lows about a week and a half ago. So it had this really sharp bounce. That pullback and that bounce is giving you the spot of where to buy this stock. If you're a long-term investor and looking to get into Starbucks, that would be around $50. And you know, the way the market's going right now, you may get a shot to do that again in the coming weeks or months.
Yeah, and I am a long-term investor, Dan, and I think, you know, one of the things about Starbucks is, do you look at them on a trailing basis, at least to understand how cheap the company got? What you just announced, Brian, is obviously, and Dan refers to this is part of the brand value at Starbucks. There's no question Howard Schultz has gone out of his way to be socially responsible. Some people maybe think he's being overly political, but either way, he's taking care of his employees and he's largely taking care of his customers. On a trailing basis, 21 times for Starbucks at these levels. And before this, they had 6% U.S. same-store sales growth. We're starting to get a glimpse into their business in China after they closed 75% of their stores, and that's creeping higher. So, yes, a painful time to be a shareholder, although over the long term, this company's seen volatility at moments even around earnings, and this is good news.
And Brian, I'll just add one other thing. You know, Dan brings up the $50 level. It's also not coincidental that that's where it traded down and held back in the summer, July of 2018. Obviously, a lot's changed since then, but the level makes sense. In terms of does it matter that they're doing the right thing, I absolutely think it matters, and I hope people do remember when we come out the other side of this thing. I think the concern, if you want to play sort of devil's advocate on the Starbucks side of things, you know, over the course of a few months, will people be conditioned where, you know what, maybe I don't need Starbucks as much as I thought? And that's, again, that has to be a consideration when we get to the other side of this. Consumer behavior, consumer patterns, will they fundamentally change, or will people go back to doing what they were doing 2.5, 3 months ago?
I just want to jump in and add that I think that I agree with each of the guys that they are really good corporate citizens, and I do think that really matters to them. It matters to their customers. It matters to their employees as well. And I think when they come out the other side, maybe it trades down. I don't know. I bought some a little lower than here, not meaningfully. It doesn't really matter to me. Sort of like Tim, a long-term investor. But I think when they come out the other side, they will have still a very strong business worldwide. And I think that maybe a little differently than Guy, in that maybe this is one of the small things people keep doing. They want to get back to their normal lives. Maybe they do continue to go to Starbucks and forego some of the more expensive items that they might have purchased. So I'm long for the long term, and I'd probably be a buyer if it traded down a little bit more.
Okay, and Dan said you might get a chance to buy it at $50, half of what it is, or what it was anyway, from its peak. By the way, our friend Josh Brown of CNBC wrote a great piece today saying maybe we now remember the importance of brick and mortar stores again. When you can't get an online delivery of things you need, but you got people busting their butt, risking themselves, going to stack shelves at night, 11 o'clock at night, we're going to remember that brick and mortar is still very necessary, maybe more than ever.